Perfect.
Okay.
I think we're both.
Hello, guys. This is Will, and I'm joined with Sam for this interview because last time we did Joseph Stackler from TM, but now we're doing Don Varda, the who was originally from TM, but then changed to Varda Communications Corporation.
Yes.
Okay, so the first question is, did you have any toy trains as a kid?
I did, but I was certainly just a train fan. So I did get a train set, and I had a couple of them, but nothing like what I was about to see when I got involved into the hobby, on a major level.
Cool. Okay. Second question is, how did you find out about TM?
I was working at a Comcast television station, and Tom McComish used to come into our station all the time. And I was editing TV shows at the time, and every couple of weeks he'd come in and he was doing something, and I got to meet him, and he asked me if he could hire me to come and work for him full time. And I said yes, and that's how I met him. I met him at a Comcast TV station when I was editing videos.
Cool. Um, what was your decision? Like, why did you want to join TM?
I wanted to join TM because, like, in my career at the time, I was pretty much, just out of college for a couple years. I wanted to have a lot. I wanted to have a lot of creative license. I wanted to be able to create my own things and do my own things. And I like the fact that TM was doing. He was doing independent video productions. That was his thing.
Mhm.
He loved toy trains, and he was doing independent video productions. So for me, that meant we could travel, we could collaborate, we could write together, we could produce together, we could direct together, and all those things were what I love to do.
Cool. Okay. Next question. What was your favorite show to work on while working at TM?
Boy, there's a lot of them. We did Toy Train Review. We did Great Toy Train Layouts of America. We did all the I Love Toy Train videos. There were a lot of them. I'd have to say, the I Love Toy Train series was obviously Tom's most successful series. I Love Toy Train Part 1. I mean, by the time I was 29 years old, I think we sold over 1 million copies of that. But I really like the Great Toy Train Layouts of America series, where
Mhm.
we would go into a train collector's home, and I see you guys have a layout there in your backdrop. These
Mhm.
guys had the most elaborate, amazing layouts. And we
Yep.
traveled all over the country and saw those layouts. So we would take, Tom and I would basically be the crew, and we would go in there with a bunch of equipment, and we would videotape the collector's toy train layout. And they had all the great trains running, and it was fantastic. And then after we videotaped their layout, we would interview them. And this is so funny because computers had just came out, and Tom had one of those little iMacs. And I remember we would interview them, for like an hour or two, right? How did you get started in the hobby? What trains did you have as a kid? And they would tell us their stories. And then we would come back to TM's offices, and I remember having to type in. I typed in every word they said, which took a long time. But then we made a story out of it, and it was just a fantastic thing that I enjoyed because these guys that are the top collectors and the train people in the world, they're fascinating, and they have stories that you guys would love. You guys love these trains and all this stuff, and it was
Yep.
just fun for me as a young person to really go there and do a documentary on their life, and then how their life connected with Lionel Trains
Cool. Pretty. And American Flyer trains too.
and American Flyer. And let me add one more thing, if you don't mind, to that.
No, that's no. Go
I do
ahead.
remember, when I edited I Love Toy Trains Part 1, um, that was a lot of fun too. And Tom wanted to really make something fun for kids. He wanted it to be very entertaining, and parents could give their kids this 30-minute video, and the kids would go and watch it over and over again. And it had, all the funny, silly cars, the box cars and the animated cars and the horns and the whatever. You guys
Mhm.
know all those. And we spent a lot of time on that video, and I spent a lot of time editing that video. it was really fun. Tom wanted to make something really fun for kids. He was very
Hi
very in
everyone,
tune
this
to
is
making the
Will,
things
and
fun
today
for young
I'm going to be
kids
showing you guys my
like you guys
updated
in the
TM
hobby to
books and
get
video
introduced to a
VHS
lot of different
collection
trains.
as of
You get to
February
see a
4th,
lot. So I
2024.
spent a lot of time on I Love
So
Toy
I
Trains,
have three
and
bins.
that was another,
This one, this one, and this one.
great
You
toy train
can't
layouts
see
from
them, but
America, and then
you
I
see
Love
them
Toy
on
Trains were
camera.
two super
Yeah, I
fun
can kind
times
of
for
see the
me.
bins. This one I'll do first. But
What was your favorite
I've gotten a
layouts
lot of
that you
interesting
visited while
TM
working
tapes
at
in the
TM?
past year and a half.
Wow, that's
So
crazy. That's a big question, and
yeah,
that
let's
takes me really
not waste
back
any more time and get straight on
into
with
my
the collection.
thoughts.
So
I mean,
I'm
we
going to do bin
visited
number one, and
Frank
these will be in no
Frank
particular order,
Petruzzo's
by the way.
house.
So
He had a 1 gauge
yeah,
layout
let's get
that
started.
was massive
So
and
first,
very
I have a 2005
technical and
reprint VHS
elaborate.
of Isle of Cat Machines Part 4.
We did
Here's the
so
sides,
many
the
train
top,
layouts.
and the back.
I remember.
Here's the tape with the ink label, and the print date is October 5th, 2005. And this still
Hello,
contains
this
the
is Will
original
of Ardor
Sam
Communications
and
Corporation
2002
runs the
Tape Master
5
Nine
books
for some
reviews.
reason.
And today we have a very special person.
I mean,
It's
with
Joe
TM,
Stack
bought
from
this in
TM Books
trying to
and
think of
Video.
sometime
I
last
remember
year.
Frank
Hey
Petruzzo's
guys,
layout.
thanks
And
for
I
another,
could
and
say some, no
another
problem,
Isle of
Joe.
Cat Machines reprint.
I could say
because
so.
I
Like
have,
questions right here,
newer
like
Master Books.
Elliot
That's a lot of
Feinberg and
questions. All right.
Entertainment.
You
Yeah,
know?
but I
And
promise
next is
you
the
they'll be good. So the first one is, what was your
1993
first
VHS of
Lionel train that you
Girls of
received?
American Flyer Part 1. This is the clamshell
I
print.
guess
That he rented.
there's
front,
two ways to answer that. I was
side,
born in
and there's the back.
1969.
Elliot's was
My
Oh,
father
and
had
tape
some trains
is
from when he was
a,
a kid,
spent, 4
and
days.
like the
he
early
set
2000s
those up
ink
for me to
label
play with,
reruns.
and that was
Going back to your
a
first question,
2026 steamer.
It
It had a 6026 tender. It's not the right tender,
Yeah,
but
Oh, and if you see any lag, just
was
try to
great.
ignore it.
Yeah,
I saw
specifically
some
having the blue giraffe car.
Good.
All the cars were the smaller
Tape
027 type.
is
None of them
Sure.
were
the Isle of
big
Toy
ones.
Trains Part 5 2002
64
VHS.
yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Size,
'Cause- and since you
back,
narrated that
Accessory-wise,
segment
I had
too,
154 flashing
Here's the ink
signal,
label,
like some
and
others, like
has trains on the top,
317
Oscar
trestle
Fox,
bridge,
and has the number 32
Ron
stamped on the
Zweig,
left side.
girder
But
bridge,
uh,
and that pretty
yeah.
much
Clark
rounded
Dunham
out the
and
entirety of
Doug
now, Sean
the
Mack,
Bay's layout.
I think you'll like this.
Yeah,
one.
that was pretty cool
Yes,
too.
Yes,
given.
I
Yeah,
have
those
the
were all
Blockbuster
amazing.
Isle of Toy
was in
Trains Parts 1, 2, 3,
1975 or 76
1997.
Christmas.
To
My
me,
grandfather
I
picked up
So,
a used
yeah, sides, top, back.
the
case is basically like a
212
normal
Santa
one,
Fe
except it has a
Alco passenger set.
yeah,
made in
this sticker right here.
66. And that was a game changer for me. That was the
tape,
first train I had that
The
was
sticker label
sort of a
and
modern
cool.
looking, so to speak.
Next
diesel
one
with
is-
a
more to go,
dummy, and
so-
I was used to
Can you
seeing,
think of
like,
any
multiple
TM shows
units,
that
so
you
that
wish
was
you
Next
great.
is
edited or made
Isle
And
better?
of
also
Christmas,
passenger set. That was my
1999
first
VHS.
passenger.
Sides, top, back.
That was a big deal.
The style
Pretty
of
cool.
what we did, and
Here's the sticker
So
label
Sam is
and
going
the
to
end
read
label.
an even numbered questions, and I'm going to read the
And now,
audience
this,
questions.
Right.
So
this
next
next
question
tape
is,
I've wanted
what was your
like
decision
forever.
to
We
join
have.
TM Books?
But
and,
I finally got it in June of
I had
last
first
year.
heard of
And it is
Tom McComas
the
and Jim
Alizo
Toohey
20%
probably around
track system,
1982,
1999 VHS.
One of my uncles
Yeah, this
gave
one
me
I've been wanting,
book
like I
on,
said, for a
I
real
guess
long
you'd call it
time,
modern
but
era. It was
in
technically
June of last year I
made
finally got it.
1970 to 1980.
Here's its
Part of the
tape.
Collector's Guide in History series books that
Yeah.
Tom and Jim had written.
Now,
and
next
I thought
is
that was a great book, as
this
great
Isle
as
of
having
Trains
a
box up,
catalog
as you can
of
see, it
all the
has 2 copies
information
for free as well as 1
about the
copy
various
too.
trains and
Yep,
all the great
these are
pictures
just like
and
a
everything.
duplicate.
So
I
that's when I
guess.
first heard of him.
I don't know about
Um,
making any of them better.
I would occasionally
We
see
worked
him
super
at
hard
the
on those
Wheaton
videos, you guys. I
Fairgrounds
So here's the copy
train
two.
show,
than they were to make.
and would talk to him a little
This-
bit
this
here
is-
and
We
there.
worked
Has
really
a,
hard on
97
those
But then
videos,
I
so-
went
but
to,
I thought
and,
at the time we
when I went to
I'm
college,
looking
I
for
went
the
to
1998
Columbia College,
label
Chicago,
variations
to
of
film
1, 2, and
school.
4.
Yeah.
What
But
my
I have
career
3,
path
which I
was.
will spoil as we
And
go down the
I
show.
had done some
I actually thought of
freelance
another
jobs, music
layouts,
videos,
Roadside
copy of
America.
three.
films
Oh,
around
there you
Chicago.
go. I mean, see,
This
They
one
were all,
has this
that's been 20,
limited
30 years ago,
budget
but
to
label,
clearly
an
remember
end label,
Roadside
it's
productions. They
America.
were
similar to
great
Part 4's
things.
end
They were
label.
fun
That
to
was
do.
huge.
But I was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
interested
yeah.
in
New York,
getting
was a big
something with a
train
little
show,
more,
the TC
a little
convention in New
sturdier,
York, every April, every
as I
October.
said,
like a
This
full-time
is
job.
this
So
one.
I had just written a letter to him in
Is the 1998 sticker
because I had remembered,
Roadside America. Have you guys been to
certainly
Roadside
his
America?
company, and I
Oh,
wasn't
we
sure
haven't, but
what they were
according
up
to your
at the
video,
time.
it looks like it's a
No,
great.
we're
Were they
just
still
great
producing
layout.
I
new
don't know if you
things?
guys,
I
I
had
don't know
seen
if
the Great
Roadside
Toy
America
Train
is
Routs of
still
America
operating
video
as a legal
series.
thing,
Where they were
because that was a
originally.
long time ago. But
And
you guys love toy train
You
I
wanna
layouts.
don't know
skip
if I was
this
aware
Yep.
of
and
toy trains.
go right ahead. I'm
In
not
any
forcing
case,
you to.
I wrote him a letter.
Which we did
And I think I
twice a
got
year
hired
for many years,
like
but
2 or
that
3
layout
weeks
was
later.
spectacular, dude.
Okay.
That's like walking
I basically
into
had said to him, I had
That's
this
file number
experience,
2.
but I also,
massive, Mall
as
of
part of
America.
This
the
one right
hobby,
here.
had
So
trains.
first is the Isle of
there's
Toy Trains
this
Part 1,
kind of,
2004
Roadside
VHS.
America.
recurring theme among a lot of guys.
Oh, and
where
this tape is
you're into
recycled
trains as a
because
kid, maybe up
you
through
see
junior high,
there's a lot of
freshman
blank
year of
film
high
at the
school.
end of it, and
I
it's
put
a
it
dark
away for a while.
sticker
later
layer
years
type
of high school and
thing because
in
it's
college
not
and
like
so
a
forth, and
sticker
that's what I did
per se,
too.
or is it?
I always sort of had them up in
Well, it
my
looks like it is a
upper
dark
shelf
sticker.
of my closet, so that if I was
I
getting
can't seem to
something out
scratch
of
it
there, I
off
could
for
see
some
them.
reason.
And I just thought,
And then here's the
that might be an
2005
interesting
version.
job. So that's
But it has
why
to
I
be
had
put
reached
in a
out to
different
him,
tape
and it
shell
turns
because it's
out
kind
to
of
be
broken
a
in certain
good
spots.
fit.
And as you can see, the
Yes.
print date is
It
September
was.
30th.
So,
2005.
what was the first TM
And
program
now-
that you remember?
I know
working
that
on
my brother
when
Sam
you
showed
first
this
joined?
in his
When I got there, that was
Trains 2 comparison video,
the
but
fall of
yeah, here's the part 2
1995.
2005 VHS.
They had already made
Like,
the I
again,
Love Cat Machines.
as you know, Sam showed this
videos
in
1 and
his,
2. They
part
were
two
already
comparison
made, but they had some changes
anyway,
that they wanted to make
Here's
to
the ink
them.
label.
So that's
Print
kind
date
of the first
is
thing I worked
September
on.
2nd.
Was it like some of those
2005?
voice recordings?
I don't
Here's
remember what
the
it was.
Isle
Just
of
some
Toy Trains
editing,
1
changing
constructed
some
placings.
things. Back then,
Police.
it was a real
But
complicated process.
This is kind of an
to
interesting
produce a
question, but
video. You know, you certainly
did you
shot
like
everything,
have like a
you
reason
edited
why
up
you
to a
left TM
point
to like
in-house.
now
But
we're
then you had to
going
do
on
what
to
was
Bar
known as
Communications
online
Corporation.
editing, and
Yeah,
we
I
got
did,
Uh,
but it's actually
to a place in
sad
Chicago
reason.
to do
Isle
that.
of Trains
And
4.
our
This
online
says
editor was
2002,
Chris Bruns,
and it
a
is
name that
technically,
you'd see.
but
There's a
it
lot
has
of productions
the,
with credits.
A little girl.
Slater
up to
2000
about
version inside,
almost
but
turn
I
of the
wrote
century.
2002 on
Um,
there for some reason.
I think it was like
Maybe-
97
yeah,
when I first started online editing.
Okay.
It was thing was Isle of Toy Trains Part 4.
And
Okay.
Here's the part 3,
Um,
2002
so in
VHS.
any case,
Yeah, I know I'm going in reverse order.
I had to do. They had
Parts,
already done the
but kind of
online
changed
edit. The
everything
thing
for
was
me. I wasn't
pretty
able to
close
travel
to being
anymore.
finished.
Springs
But
on
he
top,
had a
as you
list
see.
of changes he needed made. So
that
that was the first thing
Here's part
that I
2,
worked on.
2002.
But the first
Cool.
video, certainly the
And
first
just
training
like
and
part
first
1,
video
2004, this
that I
one
had
also
worked on
recycled.
from almost
there's
start to
more
finish.
film,
I
and
would
also
say
the
not
black
quite start
Oh, I
to
forgot to
finish.
show the print.
Video was shot that was
I
Toy
forgot
Train
to show the
Review
springs on
12.
top of part 1,
Yes, when you talked about the 262 crossings,
Here's part
how
1,
to modify it
2002.
and stuff.
Yes.
Very good segment.
That's what I brought
Tape
with me
and label
when I got
and
hired
also
on
print
at
well,
Tom,
Here's
what
the
he
part
brought
3
was
real
he knows a
2000
lot about
VHS.
collecting.
Why I say
But,
real?
I knew
On
more
to the next
about
question, Sam.
Well,
On to the next question.
and,
you can
How did you
see-
find out
so,
about
Isaiah,
Gene
this
Michael
kind
of
Productions,
two
or the
of us,
company that
we
made like the
complimented each
music,
other on
that like
various
music that
stories.
you
It has
used
the
in
Toy Trains
Bar
promo, but
Communications
still has
Corporation
the,
videos.
like the Joe
Have you ever heard of
Stackler
them?
How to tell a story
thingies.
or an interesting
That's why I call it
story
2000
about a
real.
product or
know,
Same goes with this one at part
You
2.
were also credited in the I Love
Or-
Christmas
or you could
video
say it's
series
late-
as a
later in 2000.
videographer, so probably that was
Here's the
during that
tape,
time.
and the end label actually looks like that.
Yeah, then we shot.
But that's it for
That
the
was a
second
in
file.
fact.
This
I remember
in.
on the letter he
Film
sent
and
me.
a
That was one of the first productions he wanted me to work
Yeah,
on.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
it
be
got delayed a little
unfitting.
bit.
So again,
He
just
had an
give
interesting
me a
idea
second.
about it. It was sort of
do this.
like an I Love Toy Trains, but it
You won't
was
take too long,
about
but
Christmas.
I
It
want to
would
see my
include
TM
trains,
tapes.
but
it
was an
As
interesting
well as
idea.
and we were doing a lot
and
of
I
other video
think-
productions, but yeah,
in
he was
original
producing
I
independent
think
guide.
maybe we came out with two
purchase the
different
rights to, and then you
I don't know
versions
what
of
you're
that.
saying.
There was the
Yeah,
earlier
yeah,
version,
yeah, you did.
and then the later one has a lot more trains in it. I want to
And
say.
some of the
98
songs
more
it used
toy trains and
Sam,
big trains.
Sam, he actually likes
VHS.
some of the songs that you used. Mhm.
EP.
I think one of the
Yeah,
songs,
here's
Yeah,
here's
go
the
ahead.
tape.
yeah, one of the songs
I
is
used
a
to
grand
have the,
entrance. I think
EP,
you use that
versions.
one like
What were your favorite
some of them
ones?
like the most often
work on.
at the beginning of videos.
But I got rid of it
that's
because
pretty
I,
easy.
of course, like the
I think one that I worked on practically
I
by
have two copies
myself
of the part 8
was
early version.
Toy
There's
train
another
accessories.
copy in another bin.
What was your
one and
favorite
two.
show to like
I
work
love
on
doing
by
both
Which I got
BCC,
sealed.
Bar
That
Communications?
it was
As you can
those
see, I
were the
wrote
ones
early
that I
2000s
actually
on there just
painstaking
to
because
not get
you know
confused.
I went through.
I
had
mean,
the
but
list of
like
just
the
about everything.
video-
Here's the later 2000 version of
and everything's categorized.
Trains 1.
And came up with the cover.
I mean,
And
the
it was
There it is.
this.
just
Yes, sir.
if it worked right,
That's
then
the
there was
one.
no problem.
That was our
Sometimes
first
they
video.
have a
Poster.
tendency
I have
to
this
need a lot of
and
Live
also
Post
to
Trains
work.
1, 2, and 3
What's that?
Such
box
as the
set.
397
collector
Collector
series.
Series 97 diesel
Earl's
pole.
Liner
2000
Yeah,
of 1,
I
2,
remember
3.
that, and I remember the 497.
Here's
I
part
remember
one.
also was giving me problems. I think one time
We
I had
we
the
do.
dump car.
Yeah, I had to
because
put
we've
this in a
watched
newer
Steve
tape
Bits
show
before,
because
so
the
and,
coal on the
Joe
wrong
Opposite
side.
has
It
the
broke.
best
I might have
I mean,
made
it
it
came
a
broken
video for
when I got it in
Trains
December
later
of
on. That's one of
2022.
my favorites.
that's
I
one of
think
our
most
favorites too. Actually, we like to
Okay.
watch those two volumes.
Here's part
Good,
2.
good.
I was in this thing for a long
Secure
time.
Line,
Met a lot of people.
Yep.
was
Joe's
the
train
one
collection.
because
Guys, I'll
when we
throw
And
you,
also
a
says
funny
2000
little
we
prototype.
had talked with Lionel about doing
The 2000
it.
real version.
We had entered
has
into an
every
And
agreement
here's
to do
part
it,
that Lionel
and
produced
Tom and
from
I were talking about how
1945 to
and
1959.
it was just going to
Post-war
be
series.
like
He
what you
has
saw,
every
pretty
train they made.
All right.
He
Now
also
here is
has
the
3 or 4
Tom Snyder.
Output
He
Trains
has
1,
Tom Snyder,
1977
train
VHS.
sets that they made.
Yes, I mean,
That
obviously
video
getting
that you
Tom
just
Snyder
held up
was
there,
Here's the tape.
Final Trains
yeah, he was a good friend.
1954. That video is the
He was a
only
good friend
video
to Tom,
like
and he
the
became
world
one
that
to me
ever
as well.
showed
And
those
really
train
nice
sets.
guy.
Here's the
and
part
fun
2,
to work with.
1997 VHS.
We shot that at his place
No
in
one
Los
has
Angeles.
Interesting how that's the
I might have a
1994
couple of
sticker
them. Joe has
would be a 97 now.
2000-ish.
And
When we
Joe is
did
an
that.
absolute
Got it
fanatic
later.
with history and
So
values.
here's
Fourth
the
question
is
Part
I'm
3,
sorry.
1997
The
VHS.
fifth question is:
Of course,
do you know of any TM
has the
videos that you wish
oversized
would have done
I
better?
talked to him on the phone this morning.
Is there something that I wish we did that we never ended up
Second
doing?
edition,
Yeah.
1997.
I also did.
I guess the closest thing might
You
be
guys have the video that I did called the
there.
Romance of Model
You know, we
Railroad.
were doing those celebrity
Right here.
series.
So that's an
And,
You guys have my head gauge video?
yeah.
No,
Talking
don't have that.
to-
Yeah, that one might be
Trying to
that
get
one might be
really
rare.
young
It's
to be the
very rare.
fourth video there.
I might have
And
an
it never
extra
panned out.
That
That would have been nice to
to
do.
watch it. I mean, and you guys
yeah.
should watch
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
we-
how much of his.
Yeah, we do watch them. We like rip them.
Can you
sold
play a
or
VHS
whatever,
tape
but
still?
if nothing else. it would
Yeah, we like rip them
great
to like
to
a
document
DVD
that,
so that like
just
it's
for
better
the
quality.
fans to see,
Yeah.
'cause he's one
Don't.
of us.
All right,
I
one more.
did that
Pile
video.
of this
Train
Trains loves operating
this
equipment and all that stuff.
That was
and
one of my favorite videos.
So here's the Outcast 3
The video was
2005.
For all I know,
Release.
with his connections
a-
in
the ink label
entertainment, he probably
And also printed on October 5th, 2005.
tape
And just
stuff,
like
but
part 4,
Yep.
this one
From
also
what I
had
heard,
it is.
some days he thought it was a great idea, some days he
Yeah.
just wasn't.
kind of caught me off guard because I was
decision.
expecting.
How did like Mike?
Does it have,
How did
like,
like
newer tape
did
just
like
on
Mike
what's happening?
Wolf like come up to you and
So I guess that'd be the
well,
closest
want
thing.
to like
Here
do
is
that?
the first toy train to big trains released from 1994.
After we do the
Sorry
questions.
about that.
That's okay.
We definitely
Yeah.
had,
Tape.
Sure.
Also
We
do
were
okay.
doing-
Reels and
So next is, if you had to pick a TM video that stands out from the
here's
rest,
the
which would it be
Output
and
Trains
why?
4 first edition 1997 VHS. Because as you can see,
Maybe
it says
Century of Lionel, just
UPC
because
code.
it was pretty thorough, and it wasn't just the obvious things. I mean, we talked about
Here's the tape.
the development of the company through its products.
Here's the Output Trains 3 1994 Canadian release by Astro Video.
Post-war development of things like smoke,
The
drag
ink has an ink label,
HO,
and cartridge number on this tape
changes
is
in ownership.
1 out of 4.
It has as far as it gets.
Here's part 2.
Not quite perfect because some of
Again,
the
Astro Video
some of the train sets we
Canadian
showed
release.
basically accurate, but if you didn't have like the exact
Cartridge number on
right
this is
variations
3
part,
out.
you know, it's
Yeah,
just
one
like,
and
we put in like
the MTH one?
kind of
Part
similar, but other than that, that's one that I think definitely was a big one.
Also, 1 out of 4.
Just blew me away that they're
So the next question is, since you left TM, have you gotten any new trains?
Now,
So
Here's
after
the,
we finish the questions, which we only have 4 left, we can show some of the tapes that we have, besides the 3 that we already mentioned, including some. Including some TM ones. So anyway, next is, what is your favorite model train?
I just like the
You have
fact
a
that it fixed
favorite?
So here's part 1, which also says as you can see.
not quite
High rail scale, 3 rail scale.
It's not quite that because the couplers it came with were big boxes.
This displays 1993.
I could change them out to be
That's
scale
okay.
couplers, and that would be 3 rail scale. But
Here's
it's
part 2.
something like that. Yeah, I have
This one has the oversized ones.
die-cast O scale
It's an operating
couplers.
train, and
if
then
I wanted
it
to
goes
use for
long,
that
and
sort
then
of
it
thing.
shortens off on both ends. Remember what that?
I
remember what I'm
did.
talking-
It was a project that I had
This
had
one also
in
has
the
oversized
basket
scales.
for like
Yes,
20-something
GT
years.
one,
and made
because
this,
it looks similar, but
Yeah,
Then
I'll
here's
tell you
put
what,
a
I'm
73
the last thing for this
Hudson,
bin is
that was,
the part
you know,
1
they
of
talked
Trains
about making it in
1993.
steam engines that
Had
are
they
Yes.
made it, I have no doubt it would have
I'm
been
saying
Now,
clamshell
don't get me wrong, dude, I
a
had
couple.
Texas specials on
valuable
New York
steam
This says
Central.
output trains on
I had
the tape.
Post-war.
collection of box cars.
and you did
All
feature
lined
that
up.
Hudson
I
in
started buying
the
Now I'm gonna put these back and then I'll
gauge
gauge the
that
camera.
you can do it
But
part
the
4
trains
series,
at MTH
Or
made,
Yes,
which I don't
that's
have on
absolutely
DVD.
incredible.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I don't have on
They were
DVD
not
yet,
see it.
but I'm getting for
models with the
Christmas.
same
So
sound.
again,
Okay.
It'll be a fun one.
Yeah, well, I hope you like that. It's interesting. The approach that I had to it was to be as accurate as possible. There's a lot of original 1946 parts on that particular locomotive.
Like the
But I
big
would
boys, the
say
Challengers,
Yeah. Sam though.
the
Sorry.
Allegheny,
segment that I contributed
gas turbine.
to that video is actually after I left. So, you know, I still
As you
kept
know, I'm not really
in touch
interested into
with
it,
Tom and everybody there.
I know.
But you
Yeah,
guys,
DVD or
I
well
had
after,
the Santa Fe,
throughout
pennies.
the
I had all
5
I
years
still
since
do
I've
there.
left.
I still have my collection.
Well, okay.
You already kind of.
What about the accessories?
Do you have any trains from when you worked at TM?
I have a lot of
Here.
accessories.
Yeah,
I started
there's a
buying
lot of
them building.
trains. It's
Now,
funny
we get
because
to
at the
this-
time when
this
I
bit
was
right here.
applied
Yeah.
or having an interview
So,
with Tom,
let's start off with
I had
Output Train
taken some basic
789
photographs
from
of what I had at the
2001.
time of trains.
We're gonna show that in a couple minutes, but
But as an eco,
but I put it like
including the scene where you like bounce up and down that table.
Nice, I think I might have had
So this one I've never shown before.
or something like that.
Output Trains 4, 5, and 6 box sets.
Now, since working for him,
What did you guys think of that when I see this guy jumping on
because I
top
was
of the
immersed in it.
Before Tom says like to hold it, it's
Part
like
4,
stop.
the 2000 prototype version of
But
it.
yeah, it is kind of an out of context type moment, but it is funny.
Yeah, it is
So
funny.
next question is,
it
what was your best moment
That was
for
pretty sad. But I want to tell
Yes.
you the fun part. You know,
Part 5
when you guys
also
realize
puts
you
the
got your layout,
2000
when the train
version
comes
in.
up and it trips the signal.
That's a good question. I don't know.
The
We
lights
had
go
great
on,
times.
or, you know, whatever
Good
happens.
friends.
You know,
He was a great
Six
boss.
is the one that came with a seal. The 2002
He and I would
way
go
too
on
And I do remember, and I think it was on that video that
trips and stuff.
we had to, I had to.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe when we showed the
Now this next one I've also wanted for a long time.
the international.
The Output Trains 4 2005.
I agree. It is a great video, and it features Elliot Feinberg in it too. So
I have this
I think
video.
so. Something like that.
That's the newer team.
Yeah, it
But
was
the
too.
cover
For sure.
Yep.
Definitely.
still says.
so have you kept up with the toy train hobby recently?
I don't wish they would have updated.
You know, it's a funny story, guys.
Well, you know, I
And
really like flying them.
has
I like real
the print date error for some reason.
So it's
It
a
has like
hobby. Hobbies are a good thing.
it still has like
Especially if you can
stuff
make a living in it.
more
That's
previous.
a blessing.
This one I've also never shown. The Output Train 7, 8, and
But also
8 and 9 box sets.
some fun
Yeah, I've also never shown
experiences. Not just
Well,
just getting an opportunity
here's
to
7.
do like various things and travel to various
These,
Well,
well,
these
me
have the,
more. I'm more.
the layer
Sam
versions,
is-
I think.
but I
A little
still
bit.
Because you
I
can
go
see
to the
7.
Illinois Railway Museum
It's
and
a
I see
flavor.
the action there, or
The ink
have
label.
visited some of the more local
Here's 8.
museums around here, like the New York Century Museum in Elkhart.
I think this one was
the Railroad Museum.
the later
like
version.
Judson,
The real late.
I don't know if
So,
Because as you can see, that's printed on the lid.
you know, I'm in the Chicago,
And I see another
Northwestern
printing on the lid. So it's
area,
called
and that
Cycle
is,
Dyke Press.
you know, a
there's
location
railroads
where
all
you
over the
could
place
travel
here.
to and
Like
come
Metra,
see
Amtrak, Metra, Amtrak.
This one is a
Sure.
different copy than the one I
Yeah,
had
and when I was a
before,
kid,
because
there was
has this.
all kinds of road names.
My other one had like a
Now,
different.
Yep.
what, 6
Uh,
or 7 classes.
Oh, but what do you
now.
think about the future of the toy
Back
train hobby?
then,
This is
I
our last
remember
question.
Penn Central, and I remember
Okay.
when Conrail came along.
You know,
I remember
you guys
Santa
are
Fe,
young
Burlington
guys, and I'm
Northern,
older.
Here's
everybody's
the
like
Isle
merging
of
now.
Trains Part 1.
The fun for
It's
two
still an
VHS.
industry that I really like to follow, just because of it. I just like looking at them, listening to them. I like what they contribute to the
And
American economy.
just ignore my dog's barking.
That's what
Here's
Will
the
Country.
remaking of the
That's what Will
1949
usually
Lion
likes
Train
to
Way
listen
of
to.
1994
The
VHS.
MTH,
created, you know, between
products.
fathers
And
and sons.
QSR,
There it is.
Something that you could go
By
and
the way,
make
we're actually from
So this
Massachusetts,
part
so
is done.
we know the
These ones away.
MBTA and
that's where the real
the
value
Cape
is.
Cod area
You know,
specifically.
Joe still goes to a lot of the
Yeah.
shows. You know, the hobby.
Yeah, a friend of mine is up in that area, grew up in that area. He's there now. He's big into the railroads. His favorite's probably still Boston and Maine, I want to say.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Mike's
Okay,
train
so
house is a thing
the next
anymore,
question
right? They're not
is-
making trains.
No, wait, they actually still are making
What was your
trains.
favorite layout to visit while
And
at
I don't know,
CTE?
you know, I don't know how Lionel is doing with their train sets and sales.
Boy,
Do
there's,
guys
you know,
anything
sometimes
about
you
how
might
that's
think, oh
going?
gosh,
Let's
the
do
biggest
this.
thing in the world
It's
is my
going
favorite,
okay,
whatever.
I'd say.
One of my
Do you guys
favorites
buy any new Lionel
belongs to
trains?
Jim Flynn.
No,
We
but
lived
we
in
have an
5 and 6.
MTH
It's a
Denver Rio
1999
Grande
rail
Steam
layout.
release.
It's one of
logo
those collectors.
and a
Collecting is a little
San-
more diluted now than it used to be.
10
And
like a Scout
this
steam
has,
engine, I think.
Tail end of this type of
different
collecting
tapes
back
film
then,
inside.
where
The
you
Denver-
had
oh,
to
sorry.
collect
The
something
Denver Rio
original
Grande
at the beginning.
Go ahead.
Okay, the Denver
condition.
Rio Grande steam engine
Not
has
just
the
box,
ski
but
train
original
announcement
wiring and all
sequence,
stuff.
but
And he was that
not
guy
sure
from
if you
London, had a really
voiced that
nice
because it kind of sounds
collection
like you,
of
but
Battle Christmas. This is the
So,
original 1998
I remember
release.
that train. It probably was me,
Yeah, it
watch
probably
things like
was.
the Scale Hudson,
All right,
the
show me these
Scale
videos you guys have.
freight
Yeah.
cars.
All right,
run on a
let's get
Yeah,
to
rail
it.
we
layout
got the
with,
Olive
We already
Trains
showed
2,
these three.
2003
But
VHS release.
Do you remember
that's
this?
one of my favorites. I used to like going. I didn't live far from it, so I used to like going to
That's
those
no
places
print on top.
to run stuff
Love that
there.
video.
And we got
Mhm.
the
And that this is the second one. We have the first volume, which we got
I think
for
it's
Christmas two years
2K
ago.
release.
He was in,
But
I
from
think,
World Class Highway,
I
can't
also
find
had
it.
to put this in the
But
shell because
so
he
Will's
had
gonna look for
like a
some
perimeter
tapes
layout
to
built on
show
various
crack, I
levels
think.
around the outer.
Here's the
so
history of
the
Lionel
middle
Trains,
was wide
1999.
open.
I was kind of
No,
thinking, would you
1989.
want to like
Easier to
call
set up
Joe
on the
Algazzini
camera
again to
pointing.
see if he can
But it was
talk
just
to
beautiful to
us?
shoot too. I mean,
Here
you
we
couldn't
go.
I
go
could
wrong.
ask him.
Whichever
I don't know if
direction
he'll
you
do
pointed
it.
the
He's super
camera.
busy. You guys, I mean,
I
talking
remember
to him, talking
Fritz
to
von
him
Tagen
is,
had a pre-war
Here's the making of the
layout.
Lionel Scale Hudson, 1991.
Just because it was pure.
Oh.
You guys are gonna have to help me out with this other name. I'm not gonna remember it.
Tape you just saw.
Nice big. It was standard gauge.
Here's the 1991
So I
Lionel
guess-
Radio Cal.
so I guess we
Great
don't
toy tournaments in
really
America, and
No,
that's
need to
also in
talk to him about that because that'll be like forever.
Also have
Okay, anyway, well,
you'll see now.
Oh, look at that. Hold that
This
still,
is
dude. Don't
blurry.
stop.
92 cal.
Don't flash it around. How to build a toy train layout.
Chuck
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Brasher?
No, that's Lionel.
I remember that.
No, wait, he was
No,
94. 94.
30.
It was almost 30 years ago.
But here's the new
And the
Lionel
club is
layout
called
of
America video, which is from the same. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it was.
1993 VHS.
But what layouts did you actually wish to visit?
Tom had a lot
Like,
of.
did you have any
know,
layouts
lot
that you
of
never
friends,
went to?
a lot of things. We had
Yeah,
layouts and
No,
stuff
I
that we
don't
probably
think
never-
so that I can
Go ahead,
think
show me that.
of. I can
Here's-
tell you what's
do you remember
kind of
this?
surreal
This one?
is to have,
Oh,
say,
you know, that's a
shot
fun
You guys are
story,
watching
guys.
this, you
That's
can
a
skip
30-minute video, right?
Tom
Well,
Snyder's
it's
actually
standard
50 something
gauge
minutes.
Oh, it's
Because-
50. You might be thinking of
House
a
in
different
Tiverton,
one.
Yeah.
California,
Watch
which is
times
in the
six.
Bay
Yeah, I
Area.
remember that video.
And then
very well.
that was
Tom,
acquired
come
by
about?
New Jersey High Railers,
This is gonna predate.
Yep.
3,000 miles away, and I shot it there as well.
Tom and I did a
Um,
30-minute
that's kind of amazing. And then also the visitor center layout that was in the Detroit area, Lionel's headquarters. That's something that
Here's the Lionel movie one.
I saw it. I
1990.
shot it there. I think that's kind of not
It's
small
like
layouts either. They were
really big.
pick up and ship out to the area.
They were
I'm
able
not
to do it.
100% sure, but
Some of the other impressive
Because
layouts I've seen
Kmart was a
were
national,
built by
massive store, just like
some of
Walmart. And
the
I'll never
Next
remember,
is
I'll never
people
forget.
that
Poetry
for a
and Review
living
I
number
was
now
sitting there
build
shopping,
and
and I walked up to the
one.
counter, you know, and our video
TW
was
Design,
sitting in there
Roger
for
Farkash.
sale.
We went to
Yep.
quite a few
Dude,
layouts that he
Yeah.
had built
Imagine how massive
around the
that is.
country.
That is
It's
big
in
time.
Texas. I used to
And I
love
was
to
And-
so
visit
proud of that video.
his
Not
studio.
spoiler
down
alert,
in
we
Dallas.
all
Your
got
video
it.
in Kmart.
And
That'd be like
then,
you guys
but here's
having
number
your
3.
video
There
that you
were
made
these
in
brothers
Walmart.
that built layouts on the
Yeah.
West Coast.
And it's by Good Times. Like, how did that like come about?
Yeah, Good Times was a distributor. You know what, you guys? That is the
I think
video that was
something-
in-
Oh,
Next
Dan
is
and Armando Vargas.
Yeah, that's them. That's them.
Celebrity
Great
Train
talented
Layouts,
guys.
Mike
Boy, did they make some
Frank
interesting
Sinatra.
layouts that we saw.
Yes, they did.
2003.
Big houses. Again, another example of like you
There's a
can't go
tape
wrong
which
wherever
says
you go.
2002.
Flip that around again on the back, you guys. I appreciate
Yeah, this
it.
this one I originally had this
Yeah,
table was like
so Good
really
Times.
limited,
Yeah,
but
perfect.
And getting to
I
know
found another copy.
was one of the ways that we could
Well, I
find
can have it in
different
better
layouts.
condition.
So go over here.
Here's Model Train
here.
Layouts by Clark Douglas, otherwise known as the layouts of Clark Douglas.
And they wanted our
Okay,
video
so
in Good
what is your
Times.
favorite Lyle accessory, and what is your least favorite?
My
That's
And then there's also
History of
a
Lionel
re-release on like a volume
I
set in 2001 actually.
So I love the basket.
This is by
So they- Yeah, that same video was actually. It was also reissued in like a double feature set along with the unrelated All About Fast Moving Trains video by Greg James Productions.
It's in high.
Interesting.
Lift bridge that they
It's
made.
not the same train.
Here's this comes in this case.
No, it's more like
Here's
live action.
60-minute video sampler.
Yeah.
Which
Those
is
old-
one of our favorite
VHS
programs as
Here
well.
this. Find
So with
here's-
the,
Oh my god, I'm so glad you picked that up.
both of
yeah,
those
that
operating
was-
The
bridges,
Alcon Machines
I
parts
just
1 and
think
2
are
double.
circle, I would say.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I
that's
love,
a video
you know, there's the
that
big
Tom and I
four,
made together. I edited that
and
entire
313
video.
is one of them.
He
One
wrote
Here's
the
part
video.
65,
We probably did
magnetic.
voiceovers
And
on
here's
it.
part
Can you
2,
show me the
sticker
back?
Yeah.
164 log roll.
Yeah, the 164 log loading is
yeah,
another
you
big
know,
four,
and
and
I'll
so
tell you
is the
guys,
97
you know,
pull-out.
I'm super
Those
proud
four
of that
are like
video.
Here's the
big
Century
time.
Lionel
And I could
Yeah.
be
Trains,
wrong, but
2000.
Evangelism says the best
You take
accessory
that.
is Lionel ever made.
it was the number one.
Here's
American
part
Flyer.
one.
That I don't like.
And there's
Uh,
two.
That's a
American
good
Flyer
question. I know there was some stuff that I
Next
didn't
is-
felt like they
see
weren't
and I
getting
said,
enough
well, I would
attention, you know what I mean?
never put that on.
Lionel
my
the
Boy,
movie.
we made that
Well,
video,
one of
and
them,
that
I think,
video
was
was just all over
80s.
the world.
375
Probably
late 80s, I'd say.
Oh,
Tape.
sure.
Video
Yeah.
they deserve.
You know, nice
January
idea,
24th,
tough to
1989.
implement, obviously, because you know,
I
a
believe
real
it's
turntable is going to have like a little bit of
1988 or
underground.
1989
You
release.
remember
Like
this?
Atlas
This is
did.
based off
I
of the
had
Yellow Toy
another
Train
copy of
series,
this that was
but
not recorded.
What Lionel was
However,
trying to
this one
do
is.
was
Toy Trains is big trains.
tough,
Yeah, that was
and
a video that Tom
they knew
did.
it.
And then
I did not work
Toy
on that
Train
video.
number
Yeah,
one.
invest any more than they
Yeah.
had to in it.
Tom,
So
I'll tell
I'm
you
not
guys a
knocking
funny
it
story.
necessarily,
Tom
but
put
you know,
a
if you
sheet
have
of
it and you love it
paper
on your
his
layout,
door,
great.
the shed that we
It's
worked in.
I don't know.
And he wanted to
From
do
top to bottom, that's a tough
this
one.
I love
So
Sarah.
put these ones away.
so you helped design the TM 97 TM logo, the one with the wings.
I love
circle.
No.
construction.
No, I had nothing to do
Big
with that. I
machines.
want to say probably
Yeah,
Danny
there you
Lane
go. Thank you. Big machine. So
did that. Now, Danny Lane was Jack Lane's wife. Jack sadly passed away not too long ago. They were a great
I don't know if you
friend,
guys know
Tom
this
and Jack.
video. There was a video
And
called
Jack
Road
did a lot of
Construction
photography
Ahead, not by
for
Tom, but
those
by another
early
guy.
collectors
And it
books.
really went very
And
well.
Danny
It was a big
was
hit.
a graphic designer.
When Tom
And I
saw
want to
that
say
video,
Tom just had an idea that he wanted to have
do I Love Big Machines.
a wing logo, and I think went to her with that. Something that
That is
kind
how
of
it was born.
like what he was seeing,
Was it
especially from the
was
Art
it
Deco
this?
pre-war era logo.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah, back
Oh, it was?
Sorry, guys.
now what I
Yeah.
did do with it was I did the animation.
Sorry.
So it kind of
It's
came
gonna
together
adjust
and all
my
that business at the
Mhm.
beginning.
Yeah, that's
Our videos,
you
but
guys, that video
that's not
there
the same
was
as
like.
Don't
one of
forget
the
the
most-
Isle of
Yeah,
Toy
that's
Trains
it.
one where it goes,
Construction ahead.
the
think so.
97
Tommy
yeah,
and I love big
Isle of Toy
machines
Trains where it
because
jumps
of
up
that
and
video
down
to try to just capture some of that.
before it
moment.
falls down.
Okay.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah,
Fred
yeah.
Levine
Was that
So
the-
next
Productions.
is the Choo Choo
Remember
Car
we did I Love
and the history of
Railroad
Marlon
Construction
Railroad.
ahead?
Yep.
The next
Doing
one
about
Yep.
airplanes
This one
too.
is
And
we
then
did not
changed
record in high
because
five.
it
Yeah,
was-
yeah.
Well, we don't
That's,
have that those tapes
That's
yet, but
Tom's sense of
But he
humor.
did.
Oh.
Next is
And
Sorry.
so,
There it
Toy
is.
Train review number
Yeah, there
four.
it is,
Wife,
guys.
Charles,
That's the,
was like,
to
yeah,
my
we really
knowledge,
should do that. So
I mean, I
future
don't think I'm
versions of
wrong.
that.
That's the
Thank
number
you.
one selling
Table
Toy
size
Train video of
923,
all
but
time
the
right
can
there.
the last
Tom
one, I agree.
991
What do you
Tom
think
and I
the
did that
future of the
video,
Toy Train
and,
hobby
Toy Train
is?
It
V5.
was so funny, you guys. I was
Well,
sitting, yeah, you see
I
that.
think
You-
that
I can't
a lot
see it. There's
depends.
like a glare
I
on it.
know
You're gonna
that
have to
there's
tilt it the
always
right
gonna be
way.
kids
You're okay,
that are always
you're okay
gonna
the way
be
you were showing it. You
Um,
just gotta tilt it a
they-
little bit so I can see that.
Well,
They're pretty
like us.
expensive.
So I can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the text.
I mean, they're
It's kind of
they're
hard to
pretty
read, but
expensive.
Look, right there, look.
It could
There you
be
go.
that
I can see that.
Toy Train
prices
Yeah,
V7.
Tom
and
Combs,
I don't
production
want to use
produced
the
by
word
Tom
quality, but
Dunn.
let's just
Yeah,
say
you know, I got it. Perfect.
investment
You know, you guys,
in,
that brings back a lot
some
of
of
good
the
memories for
products
me.
may
And
change.
Tom had a
I mean,
barn,
obviously we've
you know,
seen
big full
how
barn where his
electronics
office
have
was.
been
And upstairs in that full barn,
revolutionized
there was
the
editing
hobby
Train
business
review
and
eight.
setup. You know, he gave me my own
right up
editing
to like
suite
being
and
able
stuff.
to control trains
And
and
I
smart
can tell
phones
you
and
guys,
stuff
I
like
edited that video for
really cool.
Toy
But
Train
it
review
can, it
9.
can get expensive, and that's an investment. A parent probably wants to be absolutely
Has no
sure their
Tom,
kid will play
you know,
with it
wrote
before they
produced it, came up with
drop
the
that
concept.
kind of
We really
money.
wrote,
Toy
produced,
Train's
directed it
11.
together, and
you know what,
edited that video. But
In
Also
a lot of
awesome.
ways,
Yeah,
it's a buyer's
I'm pretty
market,
sure,
depending on what you're talking
I mean,
about.
that's the number
And
one
I would
selling
say,
Toy Train
to
video
say a
of all
parent,
time. And
Yep.
probably,
Train
like,
as well.
what should I
probably
buy?
always will be.
Okay,
Yeah.
buy a brand new line on
We also
train,
mentioned
fine.
that
If
this
you
one-
can't afford it,
Put these away.
look at
oh yeah, the
secondhand
online
market
editing of
for
some of the videos was
things
Chris
that
Scruns.
you can piece together and make your
Yeah,
own,
Chris is
train set with,
Chris
you know,
mastered our videos, so let me
nothing
I'll
wrong
tell
with
you,
any
I'll explain to
approach
you guys
as
how
long
that
as
happens.
as junior,
So we would go, we
it gets
would,
to have that
we would shoot
train
this
for
video.
Christmas.
We would shoot I Love Toy Trains,
Yes,
okay?
that's
We would
well
edit
said,
it, right?
Joe.
And we
So
had
now we can look for
we had
some TM
pieces of
show
it.
you.
Here's the first minute and a half.
Well, yeah.
Here's the
First,
intro.
I have
Here's
a
the middle. Here's
97
this. So Chris
and a
Scruns,
98 PM
Chris
countdown.
Scruns would be what he did.
Here's
was
the Alpha
he
Trains
mastered
10, 11,
the
12,
video.
90
Yeah.
minute.
So we would
Got them
take
from
our
eBay in
pieces.
2022.
I would drive to Chicago.
I know that
we
David's
would
a train
drive-
guy also
we
has
would
to
go to
too.
Chris
You know,
Scruns'
another
suite.
sign of Tom's generosity was
November
master the whole
2nd,
thing
his
together.
idea
2005.
to put my name on the front of those
So you
Here's
understand what I'm
Alpha
saying?
Trains
He
5,
didn't-
first
he didn't
edition,
edit
1998.
the
Stacker
video,
Productions.
but he did
Oh, yeah.
put all
Tom's
the
idea.
pieces
Sometimes
together.
can have errors where once it
It
says
also
Tacoma
has-
Stackler
He
Productions.
mastered-
This on
he
the
mastered
inside,
all of
but
Tom's
still
videos
advertisement
when I was
for
Oh, really?
the Alpha Train videos.
I thought he
Yeah,
also
and there was
edited
one,
your bids for Vara Communications.
Will is
Corp.
getting
He
out
did-
some
he
TM
he
tapes back. He
mastered our
wants to
videos
show
too,
you.
yes, sir.
Cool, I must say.
3 more tapes.
Will be a little bit.
The,
Next up, I have
Lionel
2
video
copies of the
catalog.
Well,
I'm-
second
I'm-
edition 98.
Yeah,
Here's
that,
the first one.
what, let me see that.
That's the 91.
90, what'd you say?
91.
Don't know why.
So, the
Okay,
first one I
yeah.
have is,
Cool, let me
you
see.
may remember this,
Fine, regardless.
Yeah.
there's a 92 one.
Yep.
You know, it's funny,
That
you
was
guys.
that was an
Lionel
interesting
Train- hold
bit of
that
work
in for a
with they
second,
came to us to
stare.
do that.
What is that? What does
Sent
that
us a
one
lot
say
of
on the
product.
front?
I
90?
built
Here's
that
Alpha
layout.
Train 6,
Basically,
the original
92.
1990 release.
92 Lionel video catalog.
layout.
And you
Has,
guys,
don't
that's
comes
your
with the
Joe
same
Alfred
advertisement
Zini.
that I showed for part
That's
5,
Joe.
so I don't want to show it again.
Joe, I'll promise you right now,
separate
all those
groups.
video catalogs,
Well, the
all
middle
that
one,
stuff, they all belong
was
to
like
Joe
some
Alfred
sort of
Zini.
figure 8 and then the outer.
Nice. And you were
And we
featured
got
in it as well.
Here's
This
part 7.
The
new
new
Well,
line
line,
I know
that
that
video,
video
yeah, I
section
did
when
that
that came
with
out,
Tom.
that was
The
a
new
kind of a
line
really
layout and
big
how it was
deal.
built.
Has
Yeah,
before
yeah,
that's off
yeah.
again, label.
Solid
Dearborn,
rail
See
track.
if there was a print date for
Follow
some
gauge,
reason.
I mean,
I actually did
rail.
that.
Oh, I remember
I
that
got this
video.
and
Lionel
2014 from the
they were
Goodwill,
super
but
nice to us.
yeah.
They let us
Super
come in there. I got it
Super
here.
up there too.
I saw
They let
four
us come
copies
into
of
their-
parts 1, 2, 3,
They
90
let us
minute.
come into their
So
layout.
So here's the 97 copy.
And gave us
Wrote
like 2
1997.
full days to videotape
Of
their
course,
layout.
So the next
And
one
it was
is
a massive layout. They were
the
very
Gray
friendly.
Montana Tree, but this is the original.
Then I have a
I
2000
worked a little bit
pressing.
on that. I don't remember who helped us with that.
I believe it was
I also
Ann
have
Cummins.
Yeah.
Oh,
because-
okay.
Or
Sure, she was there when I
there were
first
pieces
started
of
working
video
at
from this tape,
TM.
so I had to take it out.
Tom and Charles, and they took one of his photographer friends with them on
Here's
that
Parts
trip
1, 2,
to
3,
shoot all that.
2002. Again,
So
9
it
minutes.
was.
Incredible.
We have some of the Toy Train review volumes. This is the third one.
And then they came back and they had all this
2005.
footage.
Can you just read this? Is the red
That's the
headline,
same
that's all.
97 case.
I
like
necessarily
The
did
Choo Choo Barn. Oh, the Choo Choo
with that
Barn.
show.
Choo-choo
Yeah,
barn.
It was a
Hey, what was
good
the next red one?
video.
June 21st,
because
2005.
Weaver
it was more than
models?
just the,
Okay, Weaver,
Rob
I remember
Weaver.
that.
trains or
Carl
So-
Burkhart, Bruce Lawrence,
I have one more
Okay.
pound to go for this.
and then
one.
like a Mark's Train set, Terry
and
Johnson's
I think
layout
Charles,
too,
was
which he
the
eventually finished.
major force
Okay.
behind that.
You know,
I'm
you guys,
pretty sure that
there
she
were a
at least
lot
got
of,
close to credit on
a lot of
You were actually
smaller
credited as
companies
additional
coming up, right?
videography
Like
on it,
MTH
so
was a small company before they became.
Wonder where I
gigantic.
picked that up,
There
'cause I
was
didn't go to
Weaver, and there was
Montana.
Right-of-Way
Yeah.
Trains, and there were all these
Yeah.
little
Interesting.
Yeah, whatever.
companies coming up, making box
But
cars,
this
making
is essentially
steam
why
engines.
now.
I have a
But
lot
if
of
you
those
notice,
trains in my
this is
collection.
a festival version.
I remember Weaver.
Yeah,
Yep, we did a
and
story.
Williams.
cut it down.
Williams as well.
Cut down to about an hour.
Williams made nice trains,
I
and I
think
had a lot of
what
their
happened
trains.
there
I
was
bought,
there was
I
a
know I
shorter
bought the
version
first
that was
Texas
cut down
specials
also
they made. I really liked
on
that
TV.
freeze a lot,
I want to
too.
say
had
the
a lot
full
of those.
version may have
Yeah,
been
Williams
shown. I
was-
don't remember
yeah.
for sure on
I mean,
PBS.
those are great memories,
But then
Oh, yeah,
other,
speaking of
like,
Terry
small
Johnson, he
outlets
collected the
said, "Well, we show it,"
hats.
but they didn't want like
Oh,
a
yeah,
2-hour
that's
version.
right.
So that's what we created, and I think it was
Yeah.
submitted to the
Let's see a
festival.
beta
1996
copy
release.
of Toy Train
It was
V3.
meant
Really,
to be
really
something that was
Well, we have the
Oh,
VHS
yeah.
of it too.
maybe
Yeah,
but
that's
for not
cool.
necessarily
You
diehard
guys are the
Lion fan
historian
who
of this
had
whole
to, you
show,
know,
man. You
hear
got
about
more
the
This
historical stuff
copy
than I
is
do.
a
I have a
1997
lot of
release.
those
This was
videos.
more of a
You know, beta,
watered
beta
down.
Even
format
though
is
it does
still
look
a thing.
kind of similar to the.
So I'm not surprised that.
Yeah, 96 are pretty cool.
Well, we're still gonna look for more stuff.
It has
So
like footage from Toy Trains and Christmas 1 and 2, and also music by James Coffey. So
we're
How
actually
Toy
gonna go
Train's
through the
90
Toy
minutes.
Train
But
reviews that you were
it has the
involved in,
luck
just to
that
see if there are like
I have
any
there.
Yeah.
memories that you
There
have.
was-
Yeah,
You're gonna
I'm trying to
read me those
remember
headlines on the back, and
parts
I'll
1 through
remember.
6
deal was
Okay,
with that, but it was a
Let's
Let's
try
do
it,
it.
then buy
from
it. As we can start with
1999.
the second one. Toy Train
So I
V2.
guess they rented it.
See that?
You know,
Okay,
they
read
had
me
it for
your-
rent
read
there,
me
and
your
then
headlines
So,
on
I
the
know
back.
they had a
part
section
one.
by
Videos
videos.
about just those red headlines.
It's so funny because all these
Sure.
videos
These are
that you
99
Like Roadside
from
America, as we
99.
mentioned.
VHS,
Because
Rhino catalogs.
a really
Right of Way, which you
slow
mentioned. Harry
Yes.
Turner,
There's 2.
phase
Magical World of
I
Lionel.
originally
Yeah.
decided not to keep any of
Some
these, but
One thing,
conventions, Rich
VHS
Sherry
tapes,
repaint.
just
to be
tips
duplicated
now
in real
want to.
time,
Yes.
and that
I have
means
all those
you got a master
That was
plane
part two.
at
Yeah.
regular speed,
There's 3
and
from
however many
91.
tape machines
Toy Train review
uh,
videos were by
recording
subscription.
at the same time. That's how the duplicators had to do it, and they must have had, I mean, I've been there, rows and rows of
Oh, and I did that in
decks there
1991 on
working
this
at
one.
the help.
Every time one of those videos they got, they subscribed to that
My
video
goodness.
series.
And then, of course, DVDs came out, and all of a sudden it's
Oh,
just
and then although in the seventh one it said that Kalmbach like banned those Toy Train review or something like that.
Well, yeah, here's what's funny.
One of the worst things to do with VHS was I would, we would cut our promos for the various videos to show at places like York, the TCA convention at York, or whatever event.
And the last thing for this bin
And
is
you might
Great
get
Toy Train Layouts of America 6 tape
5 and
sets
10 minutes of
from probably like 1993. Right.
so you would just have to record, duplicate
This
5
copy
to
of
10
part
minutes at
1
a time.
does look like an original printing, but it's actually a 1993
The
release.
next 5 to 10 minutes to fill up the tapes that was basically those were tedious times.
Here's two.
Like the
Yes.
like the
So now we
This
got
one I
the
have
fourth one.
because
Angela
VHS
Thomas's.
Thomas's have like
That one
had
was
broken
fun.
tape.
I know I had seen it in some sort of media.
Yep. And this one also has
Fine, I'll show him layout.
samplers.
November
Mike
28th,
Salvage.
1989.
Maybe
Lionel
distributed,
Johnson, Ed Millars,
Poppy
and
Singers
George
and
Millars,
Fires or-
which you narrated
Here's
with the rocket
three.
segment,
Oh yeah.
blast off, and then slow
There it
motion.
is.
Yeah.
Also
oh yeah,
the
there's
And,
I like
Luke
at the end of
Columbus,
Underground
Underground Railroad.
videos you say like thanks
Turning.
for watching, hope you enjoyed the show.
I don't know
I
how.
love Toy Trains for one of the most popular children's series.
Before
in
his
the country.
before his
Like, what
puppet assistant
Come
Ving
on,
came
do
along.
that.
Whatever.
That was
it is.
Tom. It was
Yes,
popular. there's no doubt
because he
about it.
starred in the Future Out Toy Trains videos after you were there.
But it
Actually,
held its own for sure.
yeah. And then we got
And we were always careful.
5,
to say
6, 7, and 8,
to,
which I know you didn't.
mess around with,
I think you
real
probably
trains.
did not edit 9,
We
10,
always
or
had safety
11 or 12 because Joe Stackler actually edited the
Yeah,
12th
I
one,
love
and then he became
And here is
CM.
That too.
The fifth one has
Same way.
Trainland USA. Another one of those big ones.
Guys, this is World Tips. So
Red Atwood.
episode 2. Will's interviews
And John Stanley. We have
Sailor
Marinero
Moon,
layout,
and
Bob
Personal
Brenneman,
Thomas
All
Mann
Train layout as well.
Linda
We
Valentine.
also had a
Another one of the,
G-Gate layout too.
Custom layout builders.
The sixth one has
Questions
Blaine
from
Sillitz, who was also a guard
Oh, yeah.
Railroad.
He got it from
Phone case,
floor
too.
to the ceiling.
So do I, except mine's covered. in
Incredibly
paint.
impressive
Mine's
and meant to be,
In fact, Sailor Mars
depending on what
herself
level
gave
you're looking at, not
Yeah.
necessarily realistic, but
So the first
meant to
question
be
I have is, when and how did you get started in voice acting, and what was your first role?
Yeah.
I love
Oscar Fox, like we said, and some
My
March
first-
stuff.
I
Forced
started
perspective.
And then
because I went to
top
the
one we had
university.
HO,
And in theater
Middle
school,
School,
they
Texas.
Seventh one looks like that. In the alcove.
And that was
Oh,
when I went to
Microphone.
his place
Mhm.
out
like
there.
warm
As soon as I put my
frost.
headphones on my head,
Toy
all I
Trains
got
Christmas
was
Part 1.
David Trout
Like
did
the
a
station
Christmas
that-
layout.
like
I
station
just
at
knew
City
how to
Corp.
do that.
That's pretty cool. And oh yeah, the Hudson Steam Museum.
Toy Trains
They
Christmas
had it
Part
at
1.
the street. It was
1997 original
Section
release as
one,
well.
automatic.
Because I was judging myself.
And that's where he
And
shot.
I would-
And that's where he shot footage for the first Toy Train.
Big
Three.
window.
From university.
I didn't really
1999.
I went to my
Original
agent.
release with a red
I
tape.
think I want to do voice acting.
Tungsten and
And
daylight.
okay, well, you got, you know,
So
so-
it's just tungsten. And that's how
Toy Trains
that was
Okay, well,
Music.
then
and
we'll
sun
just
Yeah.
for a
send
few
you out
hours.
for an
Yep.
audition.
And then we got Joe Algazzini talking about the 64,
I'm a
64
fan.
Missouri Pacific
30-minute tapes.
boxcars. One was like the logo and the herald and all that stuff.
Getting the part for
And
it.
Yes.
then
Yes.
My agent went,
I was lying now.
you're gonna work. Oh,
Cool.
okay.
The guy
Yes.
knows
Also,
more
the
about
original-
toy
So I will
trains
happily
You
take
can
it. And from then on,
than
she
Elon
just
Musk
believed in
knows
me,
about electric
always.
Speaking
And
about
so
British
I just worked
That's
with
good.
times that I would say to her,
Okay, then we got
This
this
is
eighth
eight
one
nine
with
seven.
Howard Smith's
Actually,
GP9 footage from
I'd be like,
Toy Train Christmas.
Well, you probably decide to re-edit it before the final.
Two, and this one is actually a bit overplayed.
Number one,
Because
Looks realistic. Looks really realistic.
right at the
Alright, hey guys, this is Will here, and this is
Almost looks like a Lionel train, like grew bigger in size.
Corozina, Sailor Moon, and
here's
the
one.
voice of Mamoru / Darian Shields and Ale
very, very
in Last Hour in Sailor Moon.
She's always
That's
Yeah,
correct
always
voice
crazy and
on the
everything.
show.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, what's that super style voice that you get for like based off of that hearing, or is it just like going to your mind? There's pretty good
Well, it
Them,
was first
and we're actually
first
fans.
question
We're actually
is,
fans of that.
when did you start voice acting, and how did
this
you
kind
become
of
involved?
But
like this.
Yeah, Vegemite had little kids that came
And so it wasn't until, you know, series that I
yes,
They do.
Yep, that's how it came up. And actually, I actually did an interview with her. That was the previous episode. Also had like live diesel switchers. That was pretty cool series, like Tony Lash, Shard Johnson, John Potter, and
So that's kind of
and of course, oh yeah, Stan Roy. The one that runs the most trains, and we think. For the large mutation PGA Tour player Ed Doherty, Shower. John Wentz. What was your most favorite line? You say it. Just one of the phrases? Or was it something else? And also Dave Simon. Well, we can't forget the era that he took the daylight cars. Yes, Massachusetts. Yeah. He said in like Cape Cod area, the HOV. There we go. Oh, sorry, Freedom. Never. Freedom.
They only, I don't know which cars they
Oh yeah, some footage of his layout as well as Dave Simon's in the FTH one. The Museum of Science Museum. How did you get to do that?
So that's how it all began, and then I basically graduated from
My second question, what was your first role?
My teammates, right? And it was really fun. There was fun playing that and I think Ryan Dacock played IEL. Yeah. And I told him to get you in there.
I was thinking of the person that. Yes. We also have the Great Collision Layout series. We didn't mention the people in the fourth game.
Any of the original stuff at all. Which is fine because,
Yes, I have.
Also TMA. You might not remember this book.
No, I remember that. That came out from Right
And aside also animation. But this video featured Miriam Leonard
which was fun.
And Brad Nelson.
Okay, I
I know the that is Mercy film.
and I guess that's maybe I'm strong.
And so how is it like to be like
That's just what already is.
you can still go on bars, still do the voices. We also have the fifth one.
Oh, God, I know. I can't really think of
So you should do like some of those attack phrases out Mercy.
Let's see.
And
Probably
612
on.
would be like the Doom Tree. Frankfurt Trousseau, I know that's fine. And then you could do the I'm Brave one. I know,
Yes. So John Brady's voice. Fast track was like a big deal.
I have a bunch of Let me go get some.
Just in terms of the stuff we heard say.
Do you remember this? I know. History of Lionel Model Railroad. DC Man. So I assume that was your favorite line. You say it's him. Great contact.
Yeah, I mean,
There she is on the 1991. Yeah. We're all going to small company named Texas Entertainment. The knockdown for you. Oh, that's probably why you come
So we should be
in Doctor It would have been But did you enjoy like voicing the characters? This is the artist Supers and the S.
During
That's a long how it came about. Also, we have the Nerdcore train review. VHS tapes that I have. Here's the first volume. I know that some exist.
That was just before I got there.
Get some of the deep ones out. There also is Harry Hawks, Dick Brown.
Oh, the episode
Dick Brown, as well as Bernie Game. The person who owned that Hudson that was like worth a lot of money. Alright, then and the line of art too. John Brady, the person ever the first year
So that's like
I really trained Cool. That's actually not a line. It's actually told me. There's a tape. And then, anyway, Will's gonna get out. Next week, you remember making of the line as well. I do have the comment about the line that started interesting. You can see this is a blockbuster. It's really with the exception of line of anyone. Very cool. 1976. James Coffey. That's the 1990 VHS release.
I would say
Price Guides, and enjoying that. since like last year.
And then I have all the 20 third voice up. Okay. First question do you have is, when did you get your start in voice acting?
There's another one. Magic of Line at June 23rd. Well, the Bucket session. Well, part 5, you asked question like program at the beginning of it. That's your favorite talk about like the layouts and all that stuff.
So what was your favorite line to say? Did you and the other voice actors have this
His name is Brian. Well, maybe. Oh yeah, you're right. Here's a pretty interesting one. Also, it's like I guess they probably believe that without your I know wasn't there like a story that talks so yeah, like what would Mountain Day feel like? So did you voice
Yeah, that's
There's one before your time. But